Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. I am coming to you live this morning on Instagram and on YouTube. So if you are listening to this on whatever platform, good morning. Bon matin, Megan. Good morning, numbers girl. This morning, if you have the calendar, it'll say that we're going over the tools. I'll talk a little bit about the tools, but I changed the title today because I have more important things to talk to you about. And if you saw this morning, I'm calling it, or if you're looking at the title right now, it's called Don't Stay Stuck. and I presented, so in the last few weeks, I've been coming on live here. This is episode 11. And a lot of people have been approaching me about their board experiences and about how they feel about boards because it's fun. I like get to engage with people and get to talk to them more about their experiences now because they kind of know what I'm doing a little bit more and they feel like they have a safe space to talk about it. Because having somebody who knows what board governance is all about and having somebody who understands and who's been there is super important when you're feeling stuck or when you're feeling like you're unsure about um, how your board experience is going because it's not a topic that is discussed very much. It's not a topic that is shared between people. You go to your board meetings, you come out, it's mysterious, your family probably doesn't understand what you're doing. This is what the point of the wake up call is all about is I want to create more knowledge, I want to create more sharing, and I want to talk to you more about board governance and volunteering and what it's all about. So good morning. If you have questions about this and if you are feeling stuck, please put that in the comments. Or if you ever have felt stuck and what maybe helped you get out of that funk that you were in. We talked about funk yesterday, being in a funk. So last week I presented some tools like this: the Board Fit Finder, the Board Engagement Worksheet. The links are there in the chat if you're looking for them. They're in the bio if you're looking for them on Instagram. And so since having presented these things and having supported people in these conversations that we've had, I've heard things like we've talked about burnout. We've talked about people having too many boards. The people that are on boards are often the people that are the most engaged, and they're often the people that are going to um, be on many boards or asked to be on many boards, and then they burn out, and then we get stressed out, and then we get anxious. We've talked about lack of good orientation. Talked a lot about that on the wake up call here about having not enough orientation. Like we sit there at the board table and we're not sure how to do our job or we're not sure about our role, so we kind of just kind of learn in passing different things, and that can take a lot of time because your meetings are very sporadic during the year. We've talked about lack of engagement, and lack of engagement doesn't necessarily mean that you're not coming to meetings or that you're not reading your documents. Those are types of engagements, and other types of engagements could be just sitting there feeling like you're rubber stamping. Rubber stamping means you're just there to say yes or no or whatever. You don't feel like you're engaged in the decision making process. You're not engaged necessarily in the attainment of results. So you're constantly questioning yourself on if you're doing a good job or if you're really, you know, contributing to the organization. I've also heard recently and over the last years as well, this is a common phrase is if I don't do it, nobody else will. All right. That is super important to understand. If you are not at the board, nobody else will do it. And that's a myth because if you are gone, you can be sure that somebody else is going to replace you. They're going to have to do a process and find somebody else, but they will. They might not do it the same way as you, and they might, make mistakes, or they might fumble, or you know what? They might succeed. They might bring the organization to another level that you hadn't thought of because you've been doing it for so long. So think about that. these conversations are very rich, and I hear those experiences all the time. What else? I hear, it's really more than I thought it was gonna be. That for me is a red flag. So if you're hearing a lot of these, you know, um, if you're hearing or feeling a lot of these emotions, those are some real red flags. But there's ways to course correct. There's ways to change that. There's ways to make it not feel like you're disengaged or that you're not doing the things that you're supposed to be doing. Because when we are sitting in that position, when we are sitting in a position of not feeling like we're contributing to the organization, we can feel a lot of inadequacy. I've been sitting at this board table for 2 years now, and I feel like I've never made a change. I've never impacted any of the decisions. You feel like, how am I sitting here, and how can I make my contribution a little better? Um, so you can feel that ineffectiveness as a board member, and there are ways to ensure that you're not feeling that. First of all, we could be really focusing on the results. Have you ever sat on a board and not gotten the results back from any decisions that you've made? That's super important, that communication piece. Good morning, Mel. I see you there. Good morning, everybody on the Wake Up Call on YouTube and on Instagram. I'm going live on both this morning so that you can get a taste of what we do here on YouTube. Um, so, uh, some of the feelings that come with that. So we talked about inadequacy and ineffectiveness. And one of the course corrections for that, or one of the solutions that could be very important in that case, is really reporting on what you're moving forward. So if you're making decisions, like let's say in September, October, and you're not seeing any of the results from these decisions, you're not seeing any of the updates, or you're never really understanding what you did in the strategic plan, if that is moving forward, you're not getting any reporting on that, and you're not feeling like your contribution at the time of creating those tools and plans, you might be feeling ineffective, or you're uncertain. What did we do with these plans? What did we do with the policies and procedures that we implemented? Did anybody take those and implement them? And if they did implement them, how did we know that those things are being implemented? And sitting at a board and not feeling like you know what's happening is very destabilizing. Like, it's very, you feel disconnected because you're sitting there and not knowing necessarily how things are moving forward. And those things lead you to feeling stuck, because you're feeling stuck in a situation where I'm coming to these meetings, I've been asked to come. Maybe you've gotten great training, maybe you haven't. And you're sitting in a position where uh, you're creating these plans, these strategic plans, or these policies and procedures, but you're not getting the results, and you're not feeling like you know what is happening within the organization, and that can leave you a little bit like um, feeling unsatisfied with the work that you're doing. And feeling unsatisfied with the work that you're doing really doesn't promote engagement. It really doesn't make you feel like you want to go to this meeting. It is 6 o'clock. I need to go to the meeting. My family's rushing to get dinner on the table. I haven't read the documents because, you know what? What difference does it make? There's a lot of things that these obstacles that we can put in our way to get to a meeting if we don't feel like we're contributing or we're making a difference. That is a big one. I don't feel like I'm making a difference in the organization. And, what is that impact that you could be having? Super important. Super important for everybody. If you're listening, I hope that you're not feeling like that, but it happens. It happens. And the ways to course correct that, you don't have to stay stuck in that situation. We've found ways to reconnect boards and create that engagement and make them feel effective and make them feel satisfied with the work that they're doing. And those strategies and tools are things that boards should have and should be implementing so that they feel like they are educating their board, they're empowering them, and they're making them feel engaged, and they are bringing back the results so that the board feels like they are doing a good job. I hear that all the time. How do I know that I'm doing a good job? How do I know that what I'm providing while I'm sitting there at the board is influential or having an impact on what's happening? You're a volunteer. You come here, you come to the board every month and you hope that what you're providing is effective and efficient. So if your board is feeling disengaged, if you are feeling disengaged, think about the tools that are in place. Do you have proper training and orientation? So here are like I'm going to talk about like four things that you can make sure that you have at the board that is increasing that engagement or making you feel satisfied about the work that you're doing. All right. So the first one, make sure that you have proper engagement and orientation. Make sure that those people that are sitting at the board know their roles and responsibilities. All right. It's going to reduce confusion. It's going to reduce anxiety. How about knowing how we're supposed to be asking questions and what our impact is and what our roles are? So, in education and training are super important when you're at the board. And if you're not getting enough of that, maybe you want to question that at the board. The next one is proper planning. And I want to take the emphasis off of the strategic plan because the strategic plan is not the only element. You have other tools, audits and financial statements, and you have policies and procedures. And those are all things that help you plan as a board and help you guide the organization and help you guide decision making processes. So, those are super important. So, education and planning. All right. And the next one is implementation. So, how do you know sitting at the board that the things that you said you were going to do are being done within the organization? So, are you implementing? Are you delegating this? Are you making sure? How do you know? Do you get reporting back? Are you setting a time frame? Those things are very, very important to make you feel like you are certain that things are happening, that you're connected to the results that you're going to be achieving. All right, so three things. We're at the third thing. Fourth thing is results. So if you're not feeling like you're connected, how can you implement and ensure that you're getting those results? You're monitoring. All right. The fourth one is monitoring, and you want to make sure. I say that all the time. Make sure that you are monitoring. So you're getting reports back from the implementation. You're evaluating. You're getting the data back from certain things that you implemented. The policies that you created, how do you know they're being followed? All right? So these are big, big pieces. And if you're not getting those four pieces, you're going to feel like you're not engaged. You're going to feel like you're not having enough information to make informed decisions. You're going to feel inadequate, probably, and dissatisfied with what you're feeling, with what you're doing at the board. So don't stay stuck. All right. That's the moral of the story today. That's what I named the episode. Don't stay stuck because there are course corrections. All right. I talked about those four things, those four elements. So good orientation and training. If you're not sure about something, go find out more about it. Talk to us. Listen to the wake up call. We're going to be talking about a whole bunch of things. This is the first month. We're doing overviews, but we're also setting the stage for all of those contents, the content that we're going to be talking about. So, those four things: education and orientation, good planning, good tools, good information, and then implementation. So, are you implementing all of those things at the operational level or within the board? And then monitoring all those wonderful things that we said we would do. Are we doing them? Are we evaluating? Are we getting information and results back to feel satisfied about the work that we're doing? Ooh, I went through it. Don't stay stuck. Are there any questions? Are there any questions for those on Instagram? If you do, leave a comment because this is going to stay here. If you're watching it on the rebroadcast, super big topics this morning. Please leave a question here, leave comments, and talk to me about it. Keep talking to me about it because I'm getting people in my DMs. I'm getting people uh, talking to me face to face about what they're hearing and what they're learning on these things, and it's really fun. I really appreciate you listening and learning a few things. So if that is if I'm not seeing any questions, so I'm going to leave you with this information, and I hope that that you have an opportunity to course correct or to come see me to help you course correct. Talk to me about it, and I will help you, and I will pinpoint where you can add those, where you can add that those tools and tips and tricks. All right. Thanks, Mel. Uh, Never seen this side of it. Yeah, it's important, and not everybody knows that side of governance or that side of the organizations, the volunteers that are working within organizations. So I hope that to be shedding some light on that. Um, uh, Tomorrow, I'm going to be providing you with a list of episodes on governance. So I listen to a lot of podcasts and a lot of things to help me learn and to help me not feel so stuck. So tomorrow, I'm providing you with a list of podcasts that I have found so that you can learn a little bit more and share and see how what I'm saying might be relative to what they're saying, and we can all feel a little bit better about the work that we're doing. So, good morning, Leslie. I see you. I see you popping on. We're just finishing, but if you're interested, this will be replayed on Instagram. You can go see it on YouTube. So I appreciate everybody watching, and I hope that you tune in tomorrow because we'll be talking about those podcasts, and we'll be talking about what other people are saying in this industry about governance, and what I appreciate listening to stay better informed on this topic. So let's share tomorrow. If you listen to governance podcasts, who knows? If you listen to them, you can share with me what you have listened to and what you have heard. So have a good day. See you soon. This is your wake up call.